Yes, good morning, students. The screen is visible. Screen is visible. The screen is visible. Somebody respond, please.
Yes,
My voice is audible.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay. So last class we have discussed about magnetostatics. So under that we have studied what is electromagnetic force and what is electric force as well as what is magnetic force. So we just recall the concepts once again. So electromagnetic force, which can be derived by the Lorentz force equation. So he's a Dutch scientist. He recognized the Lorentz force equation F equal to Q of E bar plus U into B bar. So when you go for the distributive law in this, it can be splitting the equation F equal to Q into E. So that can be equal to the force which is raised by the electric field, as well as the F equal to Q into U bar cross B bar. This is the force which is by magnetic, so which is raised by the magnetic force. This is the magnetic force, later indicated by F suffix M. So next we see in the Biot-Savart law. So with the help of the Biot-Savart law, we can able to retrieve the magnetic field intensity. So according to the law, it is saying they will let you assume there will be a current carrying conductor. That conductor carrying current can be denoted by I1, and let you take any point differential element on a carrying conductor, that is called as D. So let you assume the point P. So at the point P, we have to find the magnetic field intensity. That magnetic field intensity dH equal directly proportional to the current passing through the conductor into differential length, and inversely proportional to the distance between the point to the length, differential length, as the and angle. Then cross AR divided by 4 pi R square. So this is the Biot-Savart law, which I have seen, which we seen in a last class. And now today shall we discuss about Ampere's circuital law. So in our electrostatics, how much importance has placed about the Gauss law, such as in magnetostatics, Ampere. For magnetostatics, it is Ampere circuital law is help us to calculating the magnetic field intensity at any point. All right, to finding the easiest way. So it is the easiest way to finding the magnetic field intensity H bar. So according what the statement will use, we'll see now. What the statement will use, electrostatic problem that we featured a lot summary. So we were able to apply the Gauss law to solve the electric field intensity much more easily. Likewise, in a magnetic problems with the sufficient symmetry, we can employ the Ampere circuital law more easily than the Biot-Savart. See, we have already discussed that, like Gauss law in electrostatics, we have one more law for finding the magnetostatics, that is Ampere circuital law. So let us see the statement of the Ampere circuital law. So which says that Ampere circuital law says that the integration of H around any closed path. Ampere circuital law states that the integration of H around any closed path is equal to the net current enclosed by that path. So right. So this statement is important, and the statement alone we have a weightage of 2 mark. Ampere circuital law says that the integration of H means magnetic field intensity, around any closed path is equal to net current enclosed by that path. So for that, let me assume this one is the closed path. So right, so this is the closed path which is symmetry. So in such a way we are going to make a closed path. So around the integral of field intensity around the closed path is equal to how much current passing through this closed path, that current equivalent value, right? So that is the equivalent value of current. So Ampere circuital law says that integration of H around any closed path. So right, integration of H around any closed path is equal to the net current enclosed by the path is equal to the what net current is passing through this path, that will be equal to the line integral of H. So it is one more statement, this line integral of H is equal to current passing through that path. Right? Passing through that path. Are you getting? Are you getting? Students, are you getting? Please somebody, please anybody respond. I'm not hearing your voice. Voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next we will see the magnetic flux density. So magnetic flux density. So before going to this, let me recall what is electric flux density. Field per unit area, flux per unit area, that is flux density. Electric flux per unit area is electric flux density. Similarly, the magnetic flux density is a letter indicated by capital B. A magnetic flux density, a letter is indicated by capital B. So how it is related to the magnetic field intensity, we'll see now. See, magnetic flux density is related with magnetic field intensity is B is equals to mu H, where mu is the permeability of the material, and so permeability can be splitted into the relative permeability as well as the free space permeability. Free space permeability is constant. The value is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Henry per meters. 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Henry per meters. The units of Henry amperes. See, the amount of magnetic flux can be represented with respect of the magnetic flux density. So phi equal to integral over B dot ds. Magnetic flux phi is equals to integral over B dot ds. So can you remember what is the electric flux density? Phi equal to, what is electric flux? Psi equal to integral over D dot ds, where D is the electric flux density. But here flux is indicated by phi equal to integral over B dot ds, where B is the magnetic flux density. B is magnetic flux density. See, Gauss law, current law. So, right, and next magnetics for an infinite line current. So I can able to apply Biot-Savart law on infinite line. So for that, let you define. So first of all, magnetic a magnetic from the Biot-Savart law. See here, Biot-Savart law is applicable on infinite line sheet. So for that, you are assuming, so there is a line charged particle will be placing along the z-axis, or it is parallel to the z-axis. So due, due to this, point P represents here. So over a point P, what might be the magnetic field intensity? That we have to calculate. So for calculating that, let you assume the z-axis is here. So this is the current carrying conductor. So the conductor carrying current is I. So differential length is dl along with the dz az. So right. So this is the rho is the distance between the point P to the electric current line. So that is the distance between our AX is minus Z into AZ plus rho into A rho. See, minus Z into AZ, rho into A rho. So next, so all conditions has to be applied. So according to the curl, so here curl property can be helped us to finding the vector calculus. So AZ cross AZ is equal to 0. AZ cross A5. So for that, let you assume H equal to I rho A5 by 4 pi can be considered as a constant, and remaining dz is a variable current. So after applying all, so this is the integral part, integral minus infinity to infinity, dz divided by z square plus rho square whole to the power 1 by 2. So this we have to evaluate the integral. So this is the integral simplification part. Form of x by x square. So from this I require only I means. So we have integral simplification. So finally we will get the value is h equal to I A5 by 2 pi rho. H equal to I A rho by 2 pi rho will come. That is the electric field intensity for a infinite line. Sorry, magnetic field intensity for a infinite line charge. magnetic field intensity for a infinite line charge. So same next concept, the same, that is a Biot-Savart law can be applicable for a ring on a ring circuit. So for that we are keeping my current conducting element the shape of a ring. So due to this ring available at a point P, we have to calculate. So in this here, the general representation formula from the Biot-Savart law and the magnitude vector representation is HAZ minus A into A rho. So this is the cylindrical coordinating system over here. So from this distance vector, we can able to find the magnitude of the vector h square plus a square, and unit vector is HAZ minus a rho by magnitude of r by magnitude of r is, we know that h into az minus a into a rho, magnitude of r is under the square root of h square plus a square. So this is the magnitude. So now these conditions will be substitute in the Biot-Savart law. So then it will becomes as Ia by 4 pi is the constant, phi with respect to 0 to 2 pi. So it will comes as 2 pi also will get cancels. See the further simplification. d phi a rho HAZ minus rho a rho by h square plus a square into whole power 3 by 2. Right. Finally, we will get the value of Ia square divided by h equal to I divided by 2a into az. H equal to I by 2a into az after got a simplified of this integral. So that is the magnetic statics application over a ring, and here it is the magnetostatic application over a infinite line. If it is line, what will be the magnetic field intensity? If I apply Biot-Savart law on a line, so which will be equivalent of H equal to Ia by Ia phi divided by 2 pi rho is the magnetic field intensity for an infinite line, and for a disk it is H equal to I by 2a into az for a disk. That is the magnetic field intensity we have recognized if my conductor in the shape of circular ring. So these are the concepts that today we will cover. Remaining we'll see in a next class. So any queries? Any queries?